Welcome back to another episode of Art World Confessions. Today I'm going to be speaking about, it's kind of like the second episode of Wolves in Sheep's Clothing, or, Beware of Wolves is one of the episodes I did when I first started this series. And it really hurt me to see another article in Hyperallegic. It said, "Ghosted by East Village Gallery, artists demand answers." And that's the East Village has been my home for many years. As a student at NYU, I lived in the East Village, and I very often come back to the East Village. It's one of the most creative, authentic neighborhoods in New York City still up to this day. And I don't know, it says several artists say the curator of the East Village art collection disappeared after charging them participation fees for an exhibition that never happened. Granted, after the artists started to make a brouhaha, some of them traveled from other places, other countries, other parts of the US. Granted, after they made a big stink about the fact that the exhibition wasn't happening and nobody had told them, the person in charge of the gallery, I don't even know his name, it's in the article, he said he had a medical emergency, and then they put the sign up on the door letting everyone know they had a medical emergency. I mean, I think if you're gonna do something like this, artists really want to share their work, and they will go to great lengths, as we see here, to be able to show their work. But if you're giving money, again, I think I said this in the other episode, if you're giving money to people you don't know, you really have to be sure that you're gonna get what they say they're gonna do for you. The best way to know that they'll do what they say, though it sometimes is not true, is to actually know who you're giving the money to. I mean, apparently they had a website and they had all the things that made this operation look legitimate, and perhaps it is a legitimate operation if people don't fall ill suddenly. But the idea of taking money, not being able to give it back on time, selling artwork, not being able to pay for the artwork as soon as it's sold, I mean, all of these things are what leave a really bitter taste in the mouths of artists and other people working in the art world who just don't get what they supposedly paid for. I say supposedly because, there's always two sides to the story too. This seems pretty cut and dry, what happened here with these poor artists. And at the end of the day, if you're going to work, like I said, work with people that you know, work closer to home in your neighborhood. I think one collector said after the pandemic that there was a resurgence in a local focus to art. And I think this is a good idea if we're going to consider things like this incident. If you work in your neighborhood, everyone knows each other. These communities can be built where you build trust with each other, and you can do beautiful things. I think that's how a lot of the things happened in New York in the art history of America and New York. The Fun Gallery located in the East Village back in the day, and all of these artist collectives where people work together who know each other and trust each other. And not everything is going to be financially rewarding, but if you're going to spend money, again, at least know that you're going to get what you paid for out of it. I was going to speak about some other fun things in the art world today, but I think, today is a full moon lunar eclipse, and for me the energy is like very, very heavy. And then in New York we have right now Jordan Neely's murder this past week, which has just galvanized the city for us to really look at ourselves. And we're often pointing fingers and saying, oh, look at what's happening over there, or we're New York, we're not America. And at the end of the day, we're not much different in terms of how we treat homeless people, how we treat people with mental health issues. And now I've gone off on a completely other tangent. But when you look at this Jordan Neely guy, which I never saw him in the subway or anything like that, but he was an artist, he was a performer, he was a Michael Jackson interpreter. I don't know, that's the wrong word I used, but I'm not even going to bother to find the word right now. But the point is that we don't take care of our own. There isn't that community that takes care of our own, and it's really sad. It's really not what the art world is about at the end of the day. If we had smaller communities, if we had people actually watching out for each other, I don't even know what happened on the train, but not one person in that car was able to tell these three guys who murdered this this Jordan Neely, they weren't able to say stop. They weren't able to say, what are you doing? They weren't able to check them. I mean, like, what is going on when we can't literally look out for people who are having a mental health crisis? And God knows, in the art world, among artists and the people who work with art, there's always some mental health crisis. So, we have to look out for each other and not murder each other because we've had a mental health episode. Anyways, this is a much deeper topic. Happy weekend, happy full moon lunar eclipse, and I look forward to all the transformations that will be happening personally and in the world at large. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when next I upload another episode of Art World Confessions. Have a great week.